Good rising, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. I am Tayla Andre. We are here with noonday.
Mwalimu Donkor Issa.
Say it again.
Mwalimu Donkor Issa.
Okay. Bring it back.
I don't know what to do.
Bring it back to the old days. What is the 10 Boys Initiative?
Yes, so the 10 Boys Initiative is a holistic rite of passage program that has been in Boston Public Schools for 30 years. It was started by a sister named Dr. Ingrid Carney, who was a principal at the time, and she had literally 10 boys that were either involved in gangs, truant students, were looking to drop out, or some of them had actually passed away. And she wanted to create a program for them to prevent them from becoming statistics. And when she transitioned from being a principal, she brought it with her to central office, for which it has been around for, close to 30 years. Out of those 30 years, I've been a facilitator for 12. Now I'm the program coordinator. And our focus is really around 5 things: academic rigor, community service, real talk, peer mentoring, as well as tutoring, and physical challenges. Is that 5? Yes.
So what does that mean?
What does which one mean?
In the sense of what do you do?
Yep. So what I do personally, so there are 30-something facilitators that do the work, that focus on the healing work. And what I do is I help to create. So last year we went on trips to Philadelphia, Washington, D.C., as well as New York City. And this year we're going to be adding Philadelphia, New York City. We're going to go back to those places for the schools that didn't go to one or the other. And then we're going to Ghana. So every year the hope from my leadership for the 10 Boys Initiative is to be able to create domestic trips as well as international trips. And the reason why I'm doing that is to be intentional. A lot of our young people have a 4-block radius, right? So many of our young people, either from traveling to school and going home, that tends to be their only reality. And when I talk to young people and I say, yo, have you been here or have you been there? A lot of people haven't. And when you begin to think about how much of a privileged thing traveling, something as simple as traveling is, it correlates directly to achievement gaps, right? Because how can I engage with a text if I've only been one place, right? So how can I engage with a text about Africa or South America or China and all of these different spaces if I've never been there? I've never physically stepped foot on those places. I can't really contextually understand that, right? So that creates some achievement gaps for our young people. So my goal, having now taken the responsibility of leading this initiative, is to really provide our young people with opportunities.
Specifically, the 10 Boys Initiative is currently raising money for
Ghana, baby, the real Wakanda. So we are going to Ghana. It initially started off as a trip for 22 young people. When I sent out the request to the facilitators, I got a huge response back, like shockingly. So now we're actually going to be doing 2 trips, one in July and one in August. And we're bringing up to 70 people in total and 50 young people to the motherland, Ghana. See, the way the adult situation is set up, we don't got no more space for the adults. But definitely there is some space for sure.
If I, have a 14-year-old son, I don't want him on the streets. How can I get him involved in the 10 Boys Initiative? Even if Ghana isn't the right thing for him,
Yep.
but I see you as a leader in the community, and I want my son to be involved. I want my daughter to be involved. Is it only the 10 boys?
Nope. So we have a 10 Girls initiative that I have launched. So in the spirit of honoring Dr. Ingrid Carney, in her spirit and love for young men, she started the 10 Boys Initiative. And I felt like it was only right, given a lot of the data that's going around, violence against girls, sex trafficking. I felt that in honor of Dr. Ingrid Carney and the issue, last year kind of rolled out very slowly the 10 Girls Initiative, only in about 2 schools. And girls from elementary up to high school. Tin Girls Initiative.
And how do I get involved?
Yep. So for the involvement piece it's a little bit trickier, but parents can request for schools to have the Tin Boys Initiative. The only problem that may present is then we have to find someone who is willing to facilitate the work. Once we find someone to facilitate the work during the school day, not after school, I strongly try to urge not to have groups after school. And the reason for that is because if I'm a young person whose parent works and I have siblings, then I can't participate in the group, and I may want to. So we really strongly urge it for the school day, twice a week. So once that happens, I meet with the concerned parents or the administration, and preferably both, and then we try to create a group at the school. So we have 32 groups up and running from elementary all the way up to high school for the Tin Boys, as well as for the Tin Girls. And we have up to 350 young people involved in our groups.
All right, let's say, for instance, I'm a parent, I'm concerned, and what steps do I have to take to get my school involved?
Just meet with the administration. Say that, they are looking for an alternative way to engage their young person or their child in something non-traditional, right? So sometimes what happens is a lot of schools try to find intervention groups that are traditionally academic based, but we are a character-based intervention group that focuses on how do we build the young person to heal from their wounds and to develop their sense of leadership.
Or if I suffer from any form of trauma,
No doubt.
this is where trauma is.
Yes. So what I do is I help to train the facilitators on different healing modalities that I have been trained in to be able to prepare them to really to identify wounds. A lot of times young people say things, or their behaviors that they exhibit are ways are markers for identifying their wounds. So I teach the facilitators how to pick up on those things, and then I give them various indigenous and neo-indigenous strategies around how to help young people, urban young people, to heal from those wounds.
How does healing differ from, you mentioned urban young people versus young people in the suburbs?
Yep. So, research has shown that young people deal with post-traumatic stress at a higher level more than even soldiers that have gone to Iraq, right? So on a daily basis, our young people are receiving external messages that are having lifelong impacts on them. So many times when a young person, particularly young boys of color, show up into a space and we begin to see the behaviors rear themselves probably around like third and fourth grade. And a lot of it is because they have never had spaces where they can translate those wounds, where they can have a family or community that can help them to process those wounds. So generally, they lash out and the behaviors begin to show themselves. And then once they start to get to middle school, they begin to create destructive subcultures when they pair it with, gang involvement or truancy or just schools that don't have structures in place for them to be able to see positive images of themselves. And then the young people, they kind of cling to a lot of the negative stereotypes that they see in the music, the movies, unfortunately. So we try to get in there early and help them to understand and provide them processes for understanding their wounds. And we give them ways to outside of the school. So I do, numerous trips outside of the schools for different groups to help them, define them new selves. We do things like reintroducing themselves to their school community. We do things, symbolic rebirths for our young people that allow them the opportunity to define them new selves, even give themselves new names that are attached to positive, affirmative language and affirmative spaces that allow them to be able to see and be who they want for themselves.
How can I reach you directly or the organization directly?
Yes. So I am a part of the Office of Opportunity and Achievement Gaps under the Assistant Superintendent, Dr. Colin Rose. My title is Program Coordinator for the Tin Boys as well as the Tin Girls Initiative. My email is dminors, DMINORS at bostonpublicschools.org. My phone number is 617-792-5943. So those are the two best.
Time, just in case
Yep. So my email is dminors at bostonpublicschools.org. And the number to reach me directly is 617-792-5943.
Is there anything you want parents, educators, facilitators to know about you, the organization, or the young people that they serve on a daily basis?
Yeah, we all operate out of regardless of how we think we're moving and translating the world. That many times we are all operating from a wounded space, and it's important for us to always have either Majegna Kamal Patah from the Akabin Family Center has taught us that it's important that we have spaces and modalities and rituals that allow us the opportunity to be able to process that and how our wounds show up on a daily basis, and what are the tools that we have in order to be able to translate them, to ascend them, and to even provide ourselves our own affirmations to be able to move and define a preferred future for ourselves and to live healthier lives, more fulfilling lives. So we hope to be able to help families as well as young people to translate the world that's happening around them and help them to reshape and redefine their life outcome and their life trajectory.
And one more time, the way to contact you?
Yes, man. My email is dminors, I almost misspelled my own name, DMINORS at bostonpublicschools.org. Cell phone number again is 617-792-5943. Am I good?
You're good. I am
right.
Tayla Andre, waking up with
Peace.
Tayla Andre. Donkor
Yes,
has been
yes.
a longtime friend of mine, and I believe in his truth. I believe in his work. And the work that he's done, I've seen personally in my own son. And if your child is in need of any type of services, this is the man you need to link with. You have his phone number. You have his email address. Thank you so much.
Yes. Thank you. Wakanda forever, baby. All right, can I take this?